Good morning, Charlie here. Welcome to my Valheim survival world. I'm coming up on day 800 playing in survival mode and have basically been doing my builds. This is probably the fanciest build I've done. It's just a two-story house with a basement. I've been doing my builds in a survival-oriented manner, probably the way most people do. Uh, that said, I am absolutely fascinated with some of the fancier builds and do a little housekeeping while I talk here. Uh, have decided as a way of, oh, I already had some on me. What do you know? As a way of keeping my interest and entertainment going, that I would work on some big projects. Let's see. I think I can spare enough resin to fill these up. Only got 2 trunks full. There we go. So I'm, if you can't tell, pretty far into the late game. I've got the padded armor, the Lox cape. I have not killed the final boss, Yagluth, yet, but I've killed all the others, and I'm planning to go back and kill them again at some point so I can have spare trophy heads to decorate my next build. And that's a lot of why I started doing these videos, this being the inaugural one. I want to not so much showcase my build because I don't consider myself an advanced builder, but share what I'm working on with people in the Valheim community and get feedback, as well as kind of provide information that I've learned that other people may be struggling with. I have a couple of friends who run a dedicated server, and they have some pretty fantastic builds over there. Again, they're survival players. It's a um, persistent server hosted, so there's no cheats enabled on it because it's a dedicated server, and they mine all their stone, uh, all their copper, all that stuff, and build some pretty fantastic stuff. Stuff that turns my frame rate into a slideshow when I first portal in for about 20 seconds. Um, yeah, that said, obviously we're playing, on dedicated servers with friends. So yeah, I mean, like, I got my iron sword on a dedicated server. That server, in fact, because we went on raids all in, bronze and troll skin armor into the swamps and dug up enough iron that everybody got themselves an iron sword after one foray. So I'm not, claiming that I never gained any advantage from playing on other servers, but just that I'm a survival player and I'm not using mods and I'm not using dev commands to give myself stuff. Um, Not because I think that's cheating. I think that's awesome if that's the way you play. I just wanted the challenge of doing a survival playthrough and doing survival builds. Um, and so I'm working on some survival builds right now, and I guess the clickbaity way to do this would be to walk you through all of the bases I've built with the grand reveal at the end, but yeah, screw it. Here we go. So this is the big thing I'm working on out there. And it is a work in progress and an experiment, and my first truly massive stone build. Now, my friends work in the computer games industry and are very talented and creative, and they built a fantastic base without even really understanding the stability system, just by trial and error, uh, learning it months ago, and have done some really crazy, grim-looking stuff. Um, and that was just for survival play. It wasn't, flying around and using all the tools at their disposal. Although I'd love to see what they'd come up with if they wanted to do that. Anyway, so let's hop over there. Well, let's shortcut. Run into Fort Kickass here because you have to have a deep, meaningful Viking name for your base, right? And yep, I have a dungeon for all my portals. This fort didn't start out that way. I had to dig it out after I built it, a month or so after I built it. I was like, I really need to stick all these portals somewhere because they were stacking up. They're outside under the eaves. They were up in the bedroom upstairs. They were everywhere. So I just crammed them in the basement. So I've got a almost 6 meter deep stone dungeon under my fort. And so the funny story about that is that fort is not built on north, south, east, west, so the moat around it is all jagged and ugly. The walls of the basement are all jagged and ugly. To get those clean, you really have to have it square. So I thought, I need to tear this down and rebuild it and get a proper, north, south, east, west facing building, and a north, south, east, west facing moat, and a north, south, east, west facing dungeon. And I thought, oh, that's too much work. I'll go do something else. And yeah, so something north of 6,000 stone later, I've got a partial castle, because I was too lazy to go fix up the little wooden house. Oh boy. Anyway, so this is why I started a video. Um, I am slowly building up Castle Whimsy here. Let's hop up here. Well, let's totally miss our jump and, you know, clumsy. Wow. Clumsy Viking it is, yes. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna flip and die. My inventory is a mess, and I am climbing up on a high building with 25 health. Fortunately, we're indoors with stairs. So, how bad can it be? So, yeah, this guard shack on top is an experiment. I threw a fire up here. What the heck? Really? There we go. Just so I could, toss a bed up here and work through the night and stay warm. I don't like this. I may just, part of me is thinking, it's 16 meters high. If I change things up just a little bit or use more iron beams in the base, I can go higher. With the wood iron beams in the base, I can go at least 18 meters, just not out here on the crenellations of the parapet. Those are all supported by archways that just hang off the side, and the archways don't give you quite as much structural integrity as stacked stone. So this is one of the things I've been learning working my way through this. But I got a lot of experience in tower building, and if I were to do it again, I really like the round towers, but octagonal towers are just as sturdy, have nearly the same interior space, but also give you 4 meter or nearly 4 meter square walls depending on how you build it. Whereas you get these 2 meter square walls, but they're get joined at the outer corners and overlap at the inside, so they're slightly less than 2 meters each. And you can see I've embedded these wood iron, what are they? The wood iron poles into it, because that gives me more integrity. Whereas without those poles, the integrity ends down here and it turns green here. I mean, the grounded state, the blue state ends down here and you get green. This gets me the blue grounded state up to the 3rd tier, so 6 meters up. So that gives me 2 extra stones, 2 extra meters, which in theory allows me to push the tower height to 18 meters, just not on the crenellations, which are, again, held with arches. That was the first thing I learned here. There's some limits. You have to experiment. If you just run your builds a little shorter than you think you want to, you will avoid a lot of the stability issues. And a lot of you guys, I'm sure, have done this or done much. I've seen much higher builds. There are a couple of things you can do to increase the integrity. Obviously, just run those wood iron poles up higher. What I found was that when I ran a second pole up, I gained one more layer of blue grounded state, and that blue is because it's right over the iron gate, and iron gates are pass-throughs for stability. There we go. But if I were to add one more layer of poles, these turn blue, but these still remain green. So you get a little bit of a diminishing return for that second tier. I know I could run them all the way up, and I could make this tower ridiculously high. There we go. I gotta put hammer away to open the door. And I have not decided. I really like the crenellations. I have a couple other ideas that I'd like to experiment with. Get out of that bloom there. That one looks crooked from down here. I'll have to inspect it later. I don't know what to do for the top. I actually had that with one more layer of wood iron poles. I had a solid stone floor at the top with no archway supports underneath it. You can just go around in a circle, and then if you're a little quick about it, you can span the center hole across and basically go go across one way, then go across 90 degrees to that, and then you'll have 4 little triangles that need to be filled up, and you can fill them all up. You get enough bridging support between those stone floor tiles. Basically the foundational stone floor is a big 2 by 2 meter floor tiles that they form a roof up there. The problem is I actually want to punch a hole through it for a staircase up or a ladder up on the interior, and that's why I tried the wooden floor and the roof up there. I'm not sure I really want or need a guard shack, a guard house on top. Um, and if I do want one, I don't know that I want a square guardhouse roof on a round tower. I'm thinking a round roof probably will look better. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do, I've got this tower, I've got these other 2 towers, and you can see initially I thought, oh, we'll have these nice open stone archways we'll run in. That actually limits your stability even more. You can get up to 15 stones over the archways, so 15 meters high, and then the 16th meter collapses because, again, these archways are just slightly less stable than solid stacked stone. So these are all getting the iron gates. If I really wanted to leave them open and not have them filled with a door, or wanted a wooden door in there, I could use the wood iron beams and run them up from 1 brick below, or even run the brick right there, and just bring that stability up and across. And that would be fine as well. And I could just have the doorway open or filled with a wooden gate. And I may experiment with that. I've got 3 additional towers, so I'm not going to tear that out. I did a lot of experimenting and tore a lot of stuff out of that tower, and I like it enough that I'm not going to change anything for now, except I will rework the guardhouse on top. I may take it out completely, but I'm not going to do that initially. I'm going to hold off and consider it something to be reworked. Over here, I'm going to experiment with the crenellations in the top, and then I will do the same thing over here depending on what results I get here and what I learn. I suspect I'm going to do one more step here, try something, and then if that fails completely, I'll either tear it off and try a second thing right here, or I'll extend and do one more tower. But I don't think I need to do more than 1 or 2 experiments at this point to really figure out how I want the towers. And, I mean, there's nothing that says the castle has to have the same tower on each side. Now on the inside, I'm thinking I want to go at least 2 stories high. So that 3rd story door, you can see it's above the walkway. It's actually really even with it. Once you put the stone on it, over here it's above it. But I'm gonna put stone on the top to create a walkway like I did over here. That'll probably be an exterior top with a wooden structure. So these doorways may be enclosed by wood walls and wooden roof, thatch roof, and I'll probably put a 2-story tall wooden structure on top. This castle is big enough I could easily put multiple Fort Kickasses over there inside it, or on top of it, so I can do whatever crazy structure I want. I want to keep with, something in the, between a medieval castle and a proper Viking architecture. Well, Valheim's version of proper Viking architecture. Keep the theme. But I haven't decided exactly what yet. That's going to be another area for experimentation and learning. The nice thing is, at least up to 6 meters and maybe all the way up to 8 meters, certainly on the outside 8 meters, I'm going to have stone walls. And those will be, nice ground supports for wood. So the wood will, take the base and be blue sitting on top of that stone. Um, I'm intending to have a great hall, and I'm thinking I may make the great hall the second floor, but that depends on what I want for the roof. If I want the roof or the ceiling of the second floor to be wood, um, that means the entire second floor needs to be underneath the wooden third floor structure with the thatched roof, because wood floors don't qualify as roofs. So if, for instance, if I were to span wood out here to that door and create a hallway underneath it, that would need some sort of thatched structure above it just to keep the rain off and the weathering out. I mean, I could ignore it and just let it get weathered and not care. Um, I do know that at least for the first floor, with judicious use of the archway supports and some cross beams, whoops, get away from that so we don't make noise. I can probably make an large interior space with stone tile ceilings uh, as the ceiling, and those count as a roof. So down here, I could come off of probably put archways on this third level with the stones on top of them. Um, and for third level stones on top, so that would line up with this floor right here, and that would give you a nice, you've got 3 meters of ceiling, so even when you're indoors, your camera is still over your head and looking over your shoulder the way most people are comfortable playing. And then you get up here, so you've got, let's take a quick look, make sure I haven't done my math wrong. Yeah, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, and then another fourth layer. And I might just bring wood out from that line, so you've got 3 stories there. And then we'll see. I haven't figured that part out yet. I can always adjust the height of that. I do have room to go up. One of the things I discovered, which I did not know, is that there is a difference in your stone's stability depending on how you stack it. So as you see, I've got yellow stone, yellow stability levels right here, and this, yeah, it's only 7 high, right? You can stack stone normally 16 high, but I'm already at yellow right here. Now we'll go over here, which is not supported by any wood iron beams yet, and you can see I have to go up a great, oh, come on, get close enough that you can see it. I do get yellow up here, but down here, anywhere, it's green, well above 7 high, right? I think you have to go up about 9. I don't know if I can get there. You have to go up about 9 before you see yellow. And we can demonstrate that easily enough here. Let's go over right here. And we've got a world save coming up. Whoop, come on. That's what I get for not eating and tempting fate here. Alright. There we go. Okay, so you can see this brick is yellowish green, and that is solid yellow, and it is definitely below me, right? It is, down at least, let's see if we can, I can't zoom out enough. Let me get my hammer off. There we go. You can see I'm well above it, right? I'm 2 full stones above it, and it is not as yellow as that is. But this is just a single stack. So hang on, let's get me down from here so I don't kill myself falling off of it with only 25 health. Yeah, I've already died once in this build. Let me zoom in on the map here. Yep, important safety tip. You put your, come on, get out of the map, you. There we go. Put your scaffolding inside your tower as well as outside your tower, because you take that hop from the scaffolding onto the upper bricks, and you just overshoot and you know, 79 health to 0 instantly. So that's why these exist. uh, yeah, I've had 2 ignominious deaths. This was the second one, and I finally wised up over here. The first one was actually over in Fort Kickass when I was rebuilding the roof. I jumped across the roof to patch a hole, fell through the roof, hit the floor of my upstairs bedroom, died in my own bedroom. That was not a Viking death. All right, so let's get out of here. So I don't want these videos to go too long, but I'm going to do a bunch of survival world. Oh, where are we? Noisy. There we go. A bunch of survival world builds on this castle, as well as kind of exploring my other builds, although I don't want to spend too much time on them. I don't think they're particularly fascinating. All right, so enough of that. Let's keep this short. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I will record some of my work and some of my farming. Probably going to go out and farm a bit. I've got a fair amount of stone. I need to take a look at my resources. I've got a bunch of junk in my inventory that needs to be organized, and that is a boring video. But at some point I need to have a burial at sea. By which I mean I just have way too much inventory in here, and I just keep picking it up every time I kill something. Oh, let's put this away. Oops. Overflow. Yeah, so I have been farming the heck out of the plains, and that's another base, and it's, again, it's just a square box with a roof and a farm. But at some point we'll go over there and do a little more farming, and maybe get some locksmeat, knock over a few pillars, get some stone for the castle, and that's about it. Anyway, if you've watched this, this is just the inaugural video. It's probably running a little long. I'll try to clean it up and shorten it so you guys aren't watching all my ramblings. But yeah, I'm going to go and work on that castle, do some experiments on each tower, film them, and you know, some of you guys who are more experienced builders want to comment, tell me where, you know, I could do things better or make my life easier. I'd love to hear it. On the other hand, if you're like me and a survival builder who's looking to do new and big things in Valheim to keep it interesting while we wait for Hearth and Home and the other updates, you know, please participate, share your stuff, link your videos. I love watching them. You know, I pop in and watch creative builders, survival players all the time. You know, Valheim's a weird thing for me. It's not the usual game I play, but I am absolutely obsessed with it. I think it's, you know, the developers have really hit on something special. Anyhow, it is now really noisy and nighttime, and that's my cue to sign off. Thank you for watching, and, you know, chime in and, you know, share your stuff and your thoughts. Thank you very much.